This diagram represents the most common places that asbestos is often found in the average home. Roof gutters can be made of asbestos cement, roof felt and shingles, loose blown-in insulation such as vermiculite, acoustic tiles, incandescent light fixture backing, artificial fireplace logs and ashes, asbestos pad under the fireplace hearth, deck undersheeting, pipe insulation, heat reflector for wood stove, insulation on electrical wires, furnace duct tape, boiler and furnace insulation, door and gasket covers, main panel and fuse box. Each fuse wire has an individual asbestos flashguard, gypsum board filing compound and patching and joint compound for walls and ceilings, outlets and switches, flooring, vinyl tiles and linoleum sheet flooring, flooring adhesive, backing behind recessed lighting, textured or stipple coated walls and ceilings. Asbestos can be found in stucco. Soffit boards can be made of asbestos cement or asbestos insulating board. Asbestos cement, transite, board, siding and undersheeting. Window putty. Even downpipes can be made of asbestos cement. Types of asbestos-containing materials, or ACMs. Common friable ACMs. Friable asbestos is a term used for any asbestos-containing material that can be crushed, crumbled, pulverised, or turned into powder with the ordinary force of a human hand. Friable is a word used to describe anything that easily crumbles, so the term in and of itself tells you what to expect with friable asbestos. Thermal lagging or insulation. This type of asbestos has many different appearances, but is mostly a fibrous material which flakes and powders easily. When applied to pipes, it's often covered in a protective coating or painted, which can be any colour and may make it more difficult to identify. It is mostly found in or on heating systems, such as around boilers or calorifiers and around pipework. This is one of the most dangerous materials containing asbestos. You are more at risk from breathing in asbestos fibres because the disturbance of the lagging or insulation releases fibres very easily into the air that you can breathe. Fire blankets. Asbestos fire blankets have probably saved many people from death and painful burn injuries over the course of many decades. Unfortunately, these fire blankets, while impervious to fire, pose a subtle threat of their own to human health. Asbestos blankets are manufactured in great quantity in the early and mid-20th century. By weaving fibres of asbestos into a blanket, the material became nearly fireproof, which meant it was of great value in putting out small fires and even in extinguishing flames that had consumed a person. Blankets were deployed by huge numbers by the military. Practically any duty station which had the risk of fire had asbestos blankets on the premises. They're also found in firehouses, police stations, theatres, schools, and in many homes as part of safety and first aid preparations. When a product like an asbestos fire blanket is damaged by fire or begins to deteriorate from wear and tear due to age, the material can become friable, meaning that individual fibres can easily enter the air and be inhaled. Welding blankets. Welding blankets, gloves and aprons were made from asbestos cloth and/or were lined with asbestos to protect labourers working with high temperature open flame. Over time, however, these protective garments were prone to normal wear and tear. Rips in the fabric or at the seams would release millions of microscopic fibres into the air. This is why welders are among those high at risk for developing mesothelioma and asbestos lung cancer. Asbestos-backed vinyl sheet flooring is where the backing contains friable asbestos material. Asbestos was carried in Hessian bags, which was then subsequently used in some carpet underlay. Also, asbestos was used in the adhesive to glue down the carpet underlay, which is usually a black, bituminous material. The vinyl sheeting itself does not contain asbestos, however. Manufacturers sometimes incorporated a felt-like backing for cushioning purposes. It is this backing which contains asbestos, usually 80 to 100%. It is most commonly found in buildings constructed before the mid-1980s. As the asbestos backing is sealed from the atmosphere by the overlaying vinyl, the risk of exposure to airborne fibres from asbestos-backed vinyl sheet flooring is low, unless the vinyl material is damaged or disturbed. Minor defects such as cracks, peeling or small worn patches on the surface vinyl would generally not cause asbestos to become airborne. However, asbestos-black vinyl sheet flooring with defects must not be subject to mechanical abrasion, as this kind of activities may cause further deterioration. Sprayed fire retardant. Although there are many instances throughout history of asbestos being used for its heat and fire resistance characteristics, it did not become popular as a fireproofing material until the early 1900s. It was seen as an inexpensive additive that could be used to create a range of inexpensive fire-resistant products, including materials such as roofing shingles, wallboard and concrete. It was woven into textiles to manufacture fire-resistant fabrics and cloths, plus fire-resistant installations and coatings. Asbestos works well as a fire-resistant material because of its chemical properties. It is non-flammable and non-combustible and has a melting point of around 1600 degrees Fahrenheit. It consists of lightweight fibres that are stronger than cotton, rayon or nylon. These fibres are also flexible enough to be worn with other fibres, hence their use in textiles, mixed and sprayed with cement or packed with other materials. Over the years, a wide array of asbestos construction materials were developed, covering nearly every conceivable potential fire hazard. Car paper, columns, plastic cement, spray-on cement, or wallpaper panels, board and cement used for ships, paint mixtures, fire doors, ceiling tiles, roof panels, more. Flexible connections. Flexible duct connectors were just one of the dozens of products made with asbestos starting with World War II era and ending in the mid-1970s. Flexible duct connectors are one of the components of the heating and cooling systems in office buildings and private homes. At this time, asbestos is one of the most affordable and easiest ways to add heat resistance to materials that had to endure extreme temperatures. Another example of asbestos textile application, in this case, pictured, used as a vibration dampener or flexible duct connector between HVAC and AHU blower and duct components. The macro image shows the coarsely woven fabric installed between the insulated duct and the HVAC unit, while the inset depicts closer detail of the up to 75% chrysotile asbestos textile material. Twisted yarn with asbestos fibre. Extensively used as caulking, sealing and heat insulation materials on thermal installations and heat conducting systems, e.g. kilns above, slow combustion fire doors, incubators, mantles and laboratory ovens, as shown left. Common non-friable ACMs. We will now take you through some common non-friable ACMs. Remember, non-friable or bonded asbestos is used to refer to asbestos-containing materials in which the asbestos is firmly bound in the matrix of the material. Fencing. This is also known as deep six. Similar sheets were also used in roofing. Note its friable nature when broken or chipped. This can be hazardous when removing the fence or if it's rubbed against. Cement flat sheets, or fibro. So fibro is an abbreviation of fibrous cement sheet. It's a building product that uses a fibrous material, most commonly asbestos, to reinforce thin cement sheets. Although asbestos-containing fibro has been used all around the world, historically Australia manufactured most of the world's fibro and also had the highest rates of fibro use. The most common types of fibro are flat sheets used for ceilings and walls, and corrugated sheets used for ceilings, also known as Super 6 roofing, as pictured. The use of asbestos in fibro was phased out during the 1980s and stopped entirely by 1987. Nowadays, fibro is reinforced with cellulose rather than asbestos. Roof shingles. There are at least 3 types of asbestos shingles. Regular flat shingle tiles are shown on top, common diamond shapes are shown at the middle, and side lap tiles are shown below. It is difficult to find asbestos replacement tiles that match original roof in colour shade. Note the 3 replacement tiles on the diamond asbestos roof. They appear whiter than the original ones. Asbestos is a brittle and fragile material. It cannot be walked on as the tiles would crack, and these hairline cracks, which are hard to see, will leak. Fragile roof considerations need to be made as well. Signage is appropriate. Cement pipes. Cement pipes containing asbestos were first used in the United States and Canada in 1931. The addition of asbestos into pipes made the pipes very durable and resistant to corrosion. Cement that contains asbestos fibre is also known as transite. The expected service life of these asbestos cement pipes was originally expected to be approximately 70 years. While the asbestos contained in these water pipes is not likely to become airborne and cause respiratory disease, there have been some serious health consequences for those in communities where public water supplies still travel through asbestos cement pipes. Workers in cement factories where transite cement was produced were at a significant risk of inhaling asbestos during the production process, as they worked with raw asbestos fibres, which generally having very little respiratory equipment that would have provided effective protection from airborne asbestos. However, the main risk of asbestos cement pipes comes from the possibility of ingesting water contaminated with loose fibres. Vinyl products. Vinyl sheet wallpaper was first introduced in 1920, while vinyl floor tile and vinyl sheet flooring were introduced in the 1950s. The product is sturdy yet flexible, making it a common component of many building and household materials. Asbestos was often mixed into vinyl because of its improved product strength and insulating properties. Asbestos was also relatively inexpensive and versatile. Common vinyl products that often contain asbestos include vinyl sheet flooring, vinyl wallpaper, and vinyl asbestos tile, VAT. While the use of asbestos in vinyl materials was largely phased out in the 1980s because of health concerns, many older homes, commercial buildings, and schools still contain asbestos vinyl products. Some uses of asbestos in vinyl are still allowed, including vinyl wallpaper. Electrical switchboards. Switchboards that were built or imported before 2004 may contain asbestos. The older the switchboard or its surroundings, the more chance there is it contains asbestos. Most switchboards installed before 1990 are very likely to contain asbestos. Non-friable asbestos containing materials, ACMs, were commonly used as an electrical insulator on meter boards and panels in general, and as bases to bus bars, spark arresters and flashcards. Timber meter boxes installed prior to 1990 can also be lined with asbestos cement sheeting, fibro. Asbestos dust and debris may then be present within the cabinets. Unsealed holes on these materials can reveal the presence of whitish asbestos fibres protruding from the material. Sometimes the brand names were stamped onto the rear of the boards and panels. The absence of such labels does not mean asbestos is not present. Brake and clutch lining. In Australia, it is estimated that over 60% of all production and 90% of all consumption of asbestos fibre occurred in the asbestos cement manufacturing industry, with many of these materials still in use today. It's very difficult to identify the presence of asbestos just by looking at it. As a general rule, certain building materials installed before the late 1980s may contain asbestos. However, the only way to be certain is to have a sample of the material analysed by a laboratory. If you do not want to go to the expense of testing to determine if asbestos is present, then the material should be treated as if it contains asbestos. Building areas that have asbestos containing materials in them will have notices posted near the entrances, frequently near the fire alarm panel. Pipe and boiler installation that contains asbestos will be labelled with identifying stickers and placards.